State of Play is live on air. A week ago today, we were all anticipating the vote. It was actually originally scheduled to be on Thursday. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
And then they debated it, and the speaker adjourned to the next day and said, okay, you come the next day and let's vote. And so we thought, this was a done deal. Minority had made a lot of noise going into it, vowing heaven and earth that they were going to reject the nominees. The General Secretary had been on my show to say we'll find mechanisms to fish people out and show they. So there was almost. I honestly going into it, I don't know, for the first, I didn't have any doubt. Also because they had changed the leadership in the House since the last fiasco. They've changed the leadership of the party, right? Asidu Ketia is the known big face still remaining. So I thought this time, in fact, one of the reasons they did the changes is this time this is locked and sealed. The MPP will struggle. And then, oh my goodness, overnight when it happened. It was around 7 p.m., just before 7 p.m. when the indication started because some of the nominees started jubilating.
In fact, they started congratulating them. I'm like, oh, no. the senior deputy minister.
I thought to myself, these guys are acting like Acquah in the hole. They appear to be saying they're in a comfortable lead. This will come to Honda. And then the bombshell. Since then, there's been chaos in the party. The question really I have on my mind, is there any chance of redemption for them?
What redemption again? Were you expecting anything different?
Yes.
Oh, you were?
I was expecting that they will carry.
Ask Raymond. I told Raymond that the party leadership, the call they made was a wrong call. In fact, in all the discussions I had with some of the NDC, I told them this is a wrong call. They said, no. It was a wrong call.
Why it was a wrong call?
You've asked your members of parliament to vote against who? Ministerial nominees. Why did you take part in the vetting of these nominees in the first place?
You wanted to scrutinize them.
You wanted to scrutinize them. I thought you said you were going to save our democracy by rejecting them.
Yes, but that will be when they come out to the vote.
Or when they come out to vote.
So you want to vet and expose them as incompetent.
So in fact, right from the get-go, the NDC was giving us a signal about the possibility of voting for them. Because if they didn't have, they knew the possibility. They knew that they could actually vote for these people. And that's why they took part in the vetting. They knew. Because if you think that these guys were not going to pass them, and by virtue of not passing them, they won't get it.
For me, the bigger strategy that they didn't deploy, that possibly may support your point, is a directive for them to stay and vote. I think if they have asked them to simply just when a voting was about to start, just boycott and leave.
But it's not a simple majority.
Yes, and back being now.
No.
But the ruling now is that once you come to the house, you are part of the house.
Okay, so what you mean is that if they had
shouldn't have come to
they have left, they would have still be part of.
In fact, they shouldn't have come to parliament at all. In fact, in order to do that, they don't have to get to parliament.
Yes.
If they don't come to parliament at all, it means parliament can't.
So if you had left 136 and MPP guys would have voted and had the majority of the one.
That number certainly wouldn't have been up to.
So you don't go at all.
You don't go at all.
You do not appear if you are. I really think it was pure indiscipline amongst those who decided not to do so. Simple.
It was always going to happen.
No, they have actually voted on the same matter and agreed that we are going to go. In fact, within political parties, there are people who would always have different views. People with very, very personal.
You actually learned when I spoke to the forces, two MPs that apparently in all the series of meetings that they had with the party deciding what to do, there wasn't one person who objected.
Openly to the people.
Openly. Not one person.
I heard some people had actually told others that...
No, but not in the open. So, so we meet together to take a group decision. I'm told not only, in fact, Kofi Adam said so, Murtala said so, not one. In fact, the only group of nominees that people objected, people raised concerns in the bigger meeting was the case of the judges.
Yes.
Kofi Adam said in those meetings, I think there were 2 or 3 people who actually stood up to object to the party's position that reject them. And you saw the votes.
Yeah.
It was 2-3.
Yes.
2-3. Two people from NDC voted for them
Extra.
in one of them.
That's
and
if we
then
are to assume that all
Exactly, we are assuming.
Actually,
And so that tallied with what Acquah done. But in the case of the ministers, there wasn't one person who objected in the big meeting.
Yes, so that's what's making the point that I do not see the two things would happen. Somebody will determine whether or not they are together or they are voting on different limbs. Be it the party, the caucus itself, somebody, or even an individual. In the NDC's case, it can even be the former president, John Dramani Mahama, saying, listen, this is how we are going. Power sources within parties always exist.
Yeah.
So this, we disagreed, but still we stayed. The more treacherous part of this conversation, which got them worried, was the fact that even as of the morning that they were going into the voting, they were not open opposition. I mean, see, it's very simple. If you know you are expecting 4 or 5, check the blogs that had written that some 15 or so MPs on the NDC side are still unsure or will not go with the general position. Perhaps that would have been an indication to the group that there will be problems. But if you take the decision, you cannot change your mind that day merely because you've been told that some will decide not to go one way or the other. So me, I do not have a problem. In fact, the decision, and what could they have said differently? The decision not to approve them, they say it's in tandem with the decision that we as a party, as a caucus, believe this government is bloated. And in these times, it should be cut down. That point has been made not only by them, virtually everybody around the table, from civil society to different groups. But they were told that you have a reason, you have an ability to do something about that. Participating in the voting makes you pliant accomplices to the current government that we are having. So it's not as if they have the option of staying back and coming tomorrow to come and sit on Joy FM to complain that government is too big.
They have to participate.
One way or the other, you certainly have to act. So that's the tight corner that they were in. So acting was either you are going to say, even though we've been saying throughout this year, even from last year, that this government is big, having the opportunity to make our voice heard or our position known on the matter, we decided to still join them in approving it. Which contradictory position would they have taken? Who else would have approved of this particular position? Would you still have had the moral authority to tomorrow? At least as we speak today, there are some members of the NDC, that's why they are putting out screenshots, who can go out and say, me, I was still for the reduction. I am for the reduction today, and I insist that the reduction should be. That position still gives those people the credibility to say that it is my thinking that government ought to be reduced.
Evans. See,
there is no way you could have actually positioned yourself like, but why? It's possible. Especially when Baswa was not in parliament. When Adwasafu was not in parliament. What would have been your argument again?
Yeah.
And the NDC has voted all together. Even when they are going to lose. Let's not get it wrong. They have voted all together. MPs, they knew that they will not win the election. The argument was sending clearly. What do they call it?
Speaker?
No, not speaker. There's this election where not... the second voting on
the budget.
The entire budget.
The budget.
They lost. Rejected it. Yes. After the rejection. They actually lost. But they completely went out to lose the election. Yeah. The point there is that we are telling the people of this country who are responsible to that this is our position. Except you are telling me that it is no longer the NDC's position. Government is bloated. And this government ought to be reduced.
So this is the thing that there's this very interesting, intricate distinction that some NDC folks are doing. That there is a party position, and there are individual positions within the party that contradicted with the group position.
I am here to
hear.
The
group position is that we are opposed to the big size. And then a few, 30-something people decide that
they are opposed to that one.
They are making that distinction.
Yes, so they are doing it now. If, assuming they all went in there and said, well, we could not change much, so let's all just try and get them into office. Would have been problematic.
The difference between a budget and approval of ministerial nominees is this. Now, you have 6 individuals involved here. The budget is a collective document. Okay. Now, you have 6 individuals involved. You saw it in the Hawa Kumsin, Opon Kroma, and Uswefi, and you saw it in that particular case. When Hawa Kumsin, who went for vetting, and we all agreed that Mavis Hawa Kumsin has no business being fisheries minister. She had the most votes. True or false?
True.
Now,
I'll tell you something when you finish.
Yes. If there's anything like intelligence gathering, the NDC would have known that some of their members were not in support of it. Yes, they didn't say it openly, but they had been having conversations. Are you saying that the whips and the leadership didn't pick these,
intelligence.
They didn't pick these intelligence, and all this while they were believing that we're just going to do that? No. But if they didn't, then they have no business being in leadership.
So I have learned since the thing happened.
But they could have said that, we picked the intelligence that some of our members will not vote for the bloc, so we have abandoned the position.
No, hold on. Once you pick that intelligence, you have to strategize, because you see,
you target them.
Once you go to them, once you pick the intelligence, and let me tell you today, it is not even true that all MPP members of parliament voted for these ministers.
Yeah, I mean, they've given the NDC have given them a perfect cover.
Yes,
yeah, of course.
it is not true.
Yeah, I mean,
it is not true.
If you were on the outside, yeah.
I mean, of course, we can't mention this because of people have pleaded for confidentiality. But there are MPP MPs that actually told who voted against their colleagues and told the NDC that you guys are not serious and that you don't know how to do this. In fact, let me be very honest with you. Look, if the NDC was really bent on doing this, they should have even extended a hand to some of the NPP members.
To bring them on board.
Which
is what Muntaka did.
You extend the hand to us, because some of the NPP members were like, but how do you guys think? Look, let me tell you something today. If Ken Oforiatta had gone to parliament for a vote, he would have lost. Because even some of his colleagues, not the vote of censure, during the vetting, if the committee had not approved him by, consensus and had sent him, for a vote.
But he went there for a vote and they said they'll reject him.
When
he was sick and returned.
When he came back, it was consensus. They should approve him. So Ken was no vote, they approved him.
So I said I'll tell you something. So I learned subsequently from some of the NDC minority members that most of the NDC guys who voted to approve, it was actually a protest vote. But what did we call it? Sabotage. Mm-hmm. And that the reason that he did that was a lot of those guys were still loyal to Harold Edrisu and to Muntaka. Mm-hmm. They were upset at the way the change happened.
Yeah.
And the thing that went against the party, they explained, is that the proximity of the reshuffle to this vote was very close. So the pain had not really gone. Although Mahama stepped in and people were still upset. So this was an opportunity to send a message. So if you reject it, who takes the hit? The new guys you brought in. My good friend Acquah, right? General Secretary Asidun Ketia. Asidun Ketia was accused and was blamed of being the one who instigated the change. Okay. Yeah. So we'll show you.
When he was present in parliament.
Exactly. Well, exactly. Yeah. So we see you. So this is your vote. You are supervised. You are working us in line.
And you may take the victory.
Exactly. If we all vote, you will say, this is why we made a change.
Yes.
It will validate the decision. It will give him the authority to say, I was right. But that group, that 30 thereabout group, were determined for Asidun Ketia not to have that glory, to go and boast. So they were confident those people sabotage. And the thing about it is, there are NDC MPs, they know themselves. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, look, they know the NDC.
They can even call you and speak to you.
The NDC MP.
And tell you that, yes.
Even for those who voted to reject, they know those who voted amongst them to approve.
Yeah.
They've mentioned names to me.
So they are sending code names. So when they are writing, they send messages in ways that if you have joined their conversations right from the beginning, you will know.
Another thing I was told, they said, you do know why Brian Champo had the most votes? The point they wanted to make then, this is what these NDC MPs were telling me, that those who wanted to sabotage and do the protest vote, which of the 6 do you hate the most? The guy you hate the most is the guy who get the most vote too.
And that's not a chance. But you see,
and the guy told me, and this is not just one MP, that's exactly what we did to them in Hawa Kumsing. Those same group of people. So those people who did Hawa Kumsing one, some of them also are part of this group. They want to fight. They are so peeved that something in the party.
But you see, in Hawa Kumsing's case, for instance, this was still under Haruna Idrisu.
Yes.
But they still said no, we're going to. But you see, that tells you that people don't like this wholesale. Look, the budget. When it comes to the budget, it's a different ball game altogether. Okay, but they don't like this wholesale. Go and do this. Go and do that. Go and do this. Go and do that. Because the reality is that there are some of the people who also said they're going to approve these members of parliament. They're not technically those who are against, how do you call it, Atuforcing and co. They just don't like how Asiedu Nketia and co are running the party.
Yeah.
They just don't like it.
True.
They just don't like it. But you see, my problem is that if Asiedu Nketia is who he says he is, he should have read the mood of his party people and not have given that directive. Because my point is that, look,
what could he have done?
I am telling you that, you see, Raymond, what was
your alternative? But Raymond, I've explained, you have a choice.
No. You had a choice. You see, the moment you came out and said, we're going to do Operation Save Our Democracy, then we started looking forward to it.
Exactly.
If you had not come out to see Operation Save Our Democracy.
But do what instead?
And on the day, you say, oh, I don't want to participate. Even if we blame you, we will not blame you like you said, like what we're doing today. Because the moment you go and issue a statement and say, all of you go to parliament because we are saving our democracy, then we are looking forward to you. You issue that statement 2 weeks to the time. So we are all looking forward to the day because you are our savior.
So here's the thing that somebody makes a point, and another NDC MP was telling me that the reason why the party didn't have a choice is that some of those who voted in that last our Kumsing scenario, the argument posed was that but there was no explicit directive from the party for us to vote one way or the other. There was no
after the fact. They're just making excuses.
So you
don't listen to those excuses.
I'm done explaining this is from the NDC. Why they issued that directive? So that they didn't want to leave room for that vagueness to be an excuse when the thing turns out that they've rejected to approve.
In fact, I've
so they have
also
to be
heard
clear.
Some say that even when some of us wanted to reject them, the indication was that it was too late for us to come to a consensus on this. So vote generally according to your conscience. So this time around, you needed to be clear on it.
Yeah.
And again, you have told the people that you made changes to your leadership for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
Because the parliamentary leadership is now basically the party in running. And that basically your actions as a party is going to be led by these people. So the entire party is in sync, from presumptive flag bearer straight down to party leadership to that parliamentary leadership. There cannot be people singing from different pages of the same hymn book in this conversation.
You raise a very important point. How does this reflect on John Mahama?
That is where the difficulty to me
because remember, this was John Mahama's position too. In fact, when he delivered his address, laying out his policy, this was a central plank of his proposals to government. Cut the size of government. Yeah. He says you can run this government with 60 ministers, I think he said. And he's a presumptive nominee. Almost all the MPs support him. Yeah. So when the party issued the directive, he backed it 100%.
Today, if you have a problem with the party leadership, and John Mahama comes in to say that, listen, you need to let it go.
Yeah, you let it go.
So because you are looking at that bigger picture.
But that's an important point. That yet, with all the complete influence and NDC capture that John Mahama has superintended, there were 30 plus NDC MPs who still felt, we can call it Evans, go ahead and do what we want.
But you see,
what does it say about...
even before we go to John Mahama, the thing about those kind of directives.
Yeah.
And I was telling you the last time on Joy FM. So, you and I, you get a position today. And I am asked to come and vote against you.
Yeah.
Secret balloting. Meanwhile, if you get the position, all things being equal, in our politics... In our politics today, where a former...
Do you have a recent example you can cite?
I don't want to mention it. In our politics today, where a former finance minister, his best friend was opposition member.
Yeah.
How would you, let's put yourself in their shoes. Would you vote against your friend? Some of these things, and that's why I'm telling you that you look for the best way around it.
Which is what?
The best way around it, first of all, was to have said we will not be part of even the vetting process. We will not be part of it.
Yeah, but the people...
And then, as fate will have it, if you had decided we'll not even show up in the room, as fate will have it, that day, Baswa didn't show up. Of course, you're not going to know. But even with intelligence, because if what the speaker said the man came the previous day or so and collapsed. the previous day. Is that not what the speaker said? So it means that on the day of the voting, you would have known that this guy wasn't going to show up.
Oh, people have been brought in what they call
in ambulance.
That one was
this is Ghana's parliament you're talking about.
That one was mafia. They brought people around. They brought an ambulance pretending that people were in there. Nobody was in there. So look, then you take advantage and make sure that look, I'm not going to go in there because you know that, and it is something every political party would know. Look, in the case of Michael Acquah, what did I say? I was with you. What did I say? I told you that Michael Acquah has made enemies. And the circumstances under which the NPP even won the election is such that the NDC will go and block. They want to prove a point. With the NPP, Michael Acquah had offended people. There were MPP MPs. MPP MPs who were supposed to have traveled and sought, very, to deal with emergencies. And Michael Acquah delayed them. And one of them, for instance, look, a lot of things happen in there. Okay, so Michael Acquah was definitely not the right person dealing with that. Even that one, you cannot be sure and say that all NDC people voted for, Urban Bag because we don't know what happened. So my point is that the moment you open it up to individuals who are friends, I'll give you a typical scenario.
Yeah.
One of the NDC, one of the nominees met an NDC MP and said, Charlie, why are you guys doing this to us? I've spoken to you. I've begged you. I've pleaded. Why? And he said, look, bro, I have given you my word. I will vote for you. I have given you my word. I will vote for you. Relax. And when I was having a conversation with some of the NDC guys, even the MPs, they told me that, Charlie, the truth is that some of our people are worse off today. And the reality is that some of their colleagues who have become nominees today are friends sometimes you can run to. Let us not hide some of these things. See, some of these guys, opposition is hell in this country. So some of the MPs, and MPs are such that they support one another. They support one another. You've been in parliament before. You've been in parliament before. Have we all not been in parliament that we've seen the majority going to instigate the minority to raise issues of quorum, and immediately their monies that are delayed are released to them from the finance ministry and other places? Don't you know that these are things that MPs do?
I get your point that there were factors, including friendship and every but I'm saying that, and I agree with Raymond. I hear you. So don't issue a particular directive.
My guy, if they had not, if the NDC had not issued that directive,
they would still have lost.
No, if they had not issued that directive,
that would have changed the outcome. Would have changed the outcome. Whether they issued the directive or not.
But we will not be discussing.
But your point is
we will not be discussing it.
The impact would not have been this way.
Yes, we will be discussing it.
Hold on. We have been having this conversation. See, listen. We have been having this conversation from the beginning. An NDC minority that on one hand rejects budgets, the other time has a conversation that we are accepting the budget, but we are selecting which of the items within the budget we don't like. You get what I'm trying to say? We have raised this matter, which goes to the credibility of the people we are dealing with here. And we raised it. We said that, to know that they are credible is to not actually have to be consistent on that particular level. They don't come and tell us stories later on that, but
that's the point. Whether you issue a directive or not, they would have lost anyway. But here's why.
Don't be part of it.
But here's why. I just disagree with your position because
don't be part.
You couldn't have objected to the government's large size and not proceed when it came down to approving their new ministers
and act like Raymond Acquah. I'm not a member of parliament. I can't do anything about the large size. I can only complain.
And then complain.
Hold on. Let me give you that scenario. If Adwoa Safo had shown up for the NPP, if Baswa had shown up for the NPP, it was a done deal that they were going to lose, right?
Yeah, but at least you vote.
No, hold on. So why don't you say I won't be part of it?
No. If you're not part of it, the guys are winning anyway.
Yes. So if it's a done deal,
go down fighting.
Don't go down fighting because you should also know that some of your members have sent signals. The leadership would have heard these things and they should have advised the party accordingly. So what you do is that you don't go down that.
That route. Half of the conversation we're having today will be absolutely moot. It were to be what they call it. A ballot that was not secret, right?
Yeah, of course.
So the people would have now been responding to their constituents. They would have been highlighted as saying these are the 36 wonderful MPs who disagree that government should reduce its size. Who disagree that even this is the number of people that should be used to reducing the size. That conversation would have been more like, NDC position if it is agreed with. And you can also tell us why. An MP can say that, listen, I I do not think that reducing the number of ministers is going to do anything to this government's expenditure anyway. Yeah. So that's my personal position. He can decide that even if the party says I should resign, I'll resign and do that. Very principled one, but that's not the position you've heard advocated. Yeah,
no, of course.
Right? See, no. This is basically hiding in the shadows. They're going to act differently. Yeah, so the men who were men in this could have come out to say that. So I don't support this position.
My point is that since you were whipping all your 136 members, and the MPP was going to whip their 138 members, all things being equal, you knew Acquah Safo being in town, and so there's a likelihood she could show up. If you have not spoken to her and she's not giving you her word, you know that, okay, 138, 136, I would lose. Okay? If you know that you're going to lose this, what do you do? What you actually do...
No, but they didn't know they were going to lose.
Hold on. No, hold on. Let me tell you.
But there's principle in losing, which is...
The principle in losing, there was a principle. The reality is that the NDC knew they were going to lose this. But they felt that if the 136, all of them vote that way, they can make a case to Ghanaians.
No, but they knew. Look.
Hold on.
That's the case they've been making from the beginning.
Yes. But I was telling you that the 136 is not going to vote for them. And so don't even start that.
No. Wait. They knew. Look, I'm telling you, they knew Acquah Safo was not going to show up on
and Baswa would have come. 137.
Oh, but Baswa, the night before, had issues.
So if they knew that,
the Thursday, Baswa wasn't available.
So if they knew that,
it was a Friday.
If they knew that,
I think that he had the issue and was
yes.
Thursday he wasn't available in the chamber. The Thursday he wasn't available.
Yeah,
so they addressed the issue about an MP who is in a terrible state the day before.
Yes. So if they knew,
as of Friday,
they should have showed up in Parliament.
No. That's the point. Friday, Thursday, they knew Baswa wasn't there. And I'm saying, I don't have any evidence, but just analysis shows that they knew Acquah Safo was not going to come.
And Baswa was not going to come.
So they knew they had a tie.
Yeah.
They knew they were going to have a tie.
They should have also known that their colleagues all of them were not going to support.
No, but as for that, I agree with the intelligence.
They know.
But here's why I believe they knew Acquah Safo was not going to come. Acquah Safo had not shown up in Parliament for a while. Monday, last week Tuesday, she showed up in Parliament. In fact, Monday when she showed up, our parliamentary correspondent reports that the NPP side, they cheered her up. They were cheering her when she entered the house.
The NPP side?
Yeah, NPP side. They were happy that she's come.
Yeah.
He said when she entered the side of the NPP, they got up cheering her. Wednesday, she came.
And vanished.
Thursday when she was needed.
Yeah.
She didn't show. And the vote didn't happen. Because she thought that the vote was going to happen
on Thursday.
One mark. Then she heard, I'm sure, she was in Ghana. There's no way she would have known that the thing has been moved to Friday. Friday is Wamba. Guess what? Tuesday,
she was in Parliament.
She went to Parliament.
Yes, but that's what I'm telling you.
What do you think was happening?
So she had an emergency for 2 days.
That's what
yes. Do you think that's a coincidence?
That's what I'm telling you. That
you think that was a coincidence?
Oh, the guy should have not going to lose this.
She came on Tuesday. She came on. If I saw the video, I don't know if some guy chased her.
Okay.
Chased her on Tuesday when did Baswa's death? When was it? When did they confirm? I think Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? No, that was
not death, that he will not be available. I think.
No, I'm talking about this week.
Okay,
this week.
Yes,
yeah,
okay,
it was
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes. The woman came in black.
Tuesday, that day now, she had her.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
But she was there. Yeah, she was there. So that's my point. So the woman was in country. The 2 days that she was needed, one call. The very next day, Parliament had done and moved on with. She showed up. I'm telling you, the NDC guys, they knew she was not going to be there.
And they knew Baswa wasn't well.
They knew. Exactly. So they knew there was going to be a tie.
But they should have also known that they were.
I get the point. But
so what they could have done actually?
They didn't know that. They didn't know. I think they didn't know about the intelligence that there are people.
Oh, they knew. They knew.
Oh, they knew.
How come you knew? How come you knew?
No.
How come I knew? And they didn't know.
But hold on. See. If no, I actually think that they would have suspected. And you see,
Raymond, I said you knew those were not going to vote for them.
No. As for this system of secret ballot, you have to be decent and forthright to say, I'm going to vote this way, and I'll not do it. Some people can say that there's somebody who talks about 7 Ghanaians on, even post after the exit polls, right? Yeah. The Ghanaians can go and vote one person and come and tell they voted another person.
Of course.
So exit polls, you can
no,
but you see, there are some people who can tell that, listen, this is how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if they blocks you, if Kevin Taylor tells you that, I have paid intelligence, and he was mentioning MPs, that these people, were not going to vote the same way that the minority people were going to vote, what could you have done differently? Even if John Mahama called them today, the people can decide, still say, I will do it and do something different.
Well,
so, for principal position,
yes,
because nobody would have got it to do.
Yeah.
That is why
they'll just hide in the crowd.
That is why
But here's why
take a picture behavior
was important.
Yeah, because you see, it is human beings in the Republic of Ghana who are generally dishonest that we are dealing with.
That is the next conversation we need to have before we wrap up. This idea that people went to the booth.
Our time is up.
No, wait, this is important. They went to the booth, this is state of play. They went to the booth and then took pictures,
discipline,
took video. No. Well, I get it. I mean, it's a violation of the. Have you heard this week the NDC MP who was on the floor arguing that
annihilation. I
cancel and do everything. I didn't hear that.
I was listening.
So he said he wants to benefit from his own actions.
The Bolivar Boy MP.
Hold on. So your side are people taking pictures.
Yes.
No, but come and tell us that we took pictures.
But to be fair to him, this is argument. I think legally it makes sense. So this is the second deputy speaker came to the floor with a statement. And the statement, he's a lawyer. So he then argues the constitutional provisions on secret ballot.
Yeah.
And he says it's excessive that this vote was supposed to be secret ballot. Yeah. Both standing order and the constitution.
And it's a public election. Is that a public election? Okay.
Yeah. And it's prescribed. Secret ballot is mentioned, right? Yeah. Then you go into the booth and come out with the thing recorded. So it's no longer secret. His argument is that it's a violation of the constitution and standing order. Then this man got up and said, but if you, and there was a debate.
Yeah.
If you, the deputy speaker, says that the constitutional provision has been violated on the requirement for secret vote, then it's announced the election. You know his argument? Then it announced the election. If it announced the election, then he's calling on the speaker to cancel the thing and do a revote. But here's the thing, that the argument, the point I really want to make. The General Secretary has been doing the serialization of the names.
Yeah.
Right? If you do the last count, he's almost closing the 100 gap where the numbers.
Yeah.
So, in effect, what he's done is, those whose names have not come up yet on the WhatsApp status of the General Secretary, in effect, the suggestion there is that they're the people who voted against.
But would that be fair to them? See,
but that is the point. That is the danger.
Would that be fair to them? I mean,
that is the danger. And look, the messages I've had the day I hosted it, the anger among NDC MPs.
Yeah, I know some people who would just say that, listen, I am a lawyer. There's no way I can breach the laws of this country. There's no way I can see Article 49(1), which says that at any public election or referendum, voting shall be by a secret ballot. You think about it. Then openly go out there and flagrantly abuse this law. It's not as if I'm ignorant. I know the laws of this country. What excuse would I give to myself and my people and the people that are supposed to be trusting me to make laws? So if you ask me 100%, I agree that it was a very terrible act. And then reliance on that to now do that real political kind of thing, that crude way of calculation and determine who did or did not vote in that particular area, it's also problematic for me. But I ask myself once again, a party is seeking to gain reputation and credibility, seeking to isolate itself from this particular action, seeking to stop. See, today I put a picture of myself saying that I'm watching NDC MPs and how they are going to vote on this matter.
The 3 bills.
Yes. Virtually everybody commented that, hey, we don't trust these people. We don't think they will do what they say they will do. Forget about them. That is feeling among a certain group of people in this country. And what would you do differently?
And I need to ask you that question because on our flyer we said, is there any chance for redemption? The 3 bills, the 3 revenue bills, the prior actions for the IMF bailout. Because yesterday, what's his name? Bodo was telling me that the decision they're taking is that, in fact, Mahama Yariga has proposed amendments and each of the amendments delete. So if he comes, they're going to vote again. Do you think that offers an opportunity for them to redeem?
They should offer some amendments, and if the amendments are not accepted, it offers a bit of a redemption. But at what cost to the states to now?
Okay.
Now they had an opportunity. We have had this conversation.
Your point. An opportunity where the cost to the state would have been beneficial. This one, okay. The cost to the states. Now you may push government. Yes, government should reduce its expenditure. We've said this over and over again. Government doesn't seem to be willing to do that, and somebody should push government to do that. So if you're able to push government to do that, now this will be a huge, redemption on the side of the NDC. Except that this will be a redemption that will favor a lot of businesses and by extension consumers. But even the businesses had indicated earlier that they were not going to pass it on.
because today the consumers are overburdened.
Every time they say that, but we still see the
We
price.
still see that. But, you know,
We won't
but-
pass it
but-
on, we won't
but
pass it on. Then inflation is reflected.
No, but this could be the redemption. Let me be very honest with you. If they are able to reject just one. In fact, and a conversation I had the last time, the consensus there was that the NDC should have just agreed to reject one of the nominees. Yeah. Just one. Reject just one person.
That would have been a saving.
That would have been a saving.
Let's read a bit of the messages.
Yes, some of the messages.
Could be gracious on this is the Joy FM. I'm sure you're on the Joy News because I see
Yes,
it says I don't think it's fair to blame the minority. We should rather vent our frustration on the government of the day.
Well, Abukari Al Hassan says, watch out for even those who lost in the last primaries. I wanted to come back and Anti-Mahama will lose in addition to the current Anti-Mahama MPs. It will play in our primaries. Franklin Nidodu, Dekadi Nelson says, moving forward, what's the lessons that's there to learn between the legislature on one side and party executives on the other, meddling in each other's case without any caution? William Hosegoni says, they, the minority, broke our hearts last week, Friday. They will break it further tomorrow. I can trust them. Collins Little Tete says,
Today.
Today. To say nothing is saying something. You must denounce things you're against, or one might believe that you support things you really do not. And Evans Raymond, our time is up.
Well, look, today, look, they are rising on Friday, on tomorrow, right?
yeah.
Again next week, we'll see.
We'll know the results.
I'll be
We'll
here.
know the results.
In fact, we will know the outcome.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
But now I'm watching. Will they take your advice? Will they give another instruction that go and
Master,
vote?
if you know you don't
have they not given the instruction?
They have given already.
There's between
Oh, but today, leave. Even though the speaker is better, I'm not part of this.
Okay, yeah, of course. Well,
I'm
why?
not part of
So
this.
at least participate in
Yeah,
you causing the harm.
leave. It's better
That's
that
better.
way. Because if you go again, we'll come back tomorrow. In fact, we have planned the SMS tomorrow. But if they do, tomorrow we'll discuss that.